Hello everyone, welcome back to Black Heaven, a necromantic dating sim. Let's go ahead and continue. You arrive at the hearing room in the faculty building 5 minutes before you're supposed to, and you're dressed in a clean uniform. You've bathed and shaved, but you haven't eaten. You have no appetite. You sit on one of the benches outside the room and look over your handwritten notes for the hearing. You recite the words in your head, trying to find the right inflection and facial expressions. Your recitation is interrupted by the turning of the doorknob. The door opens and you instinctively rise to your feet to greet whoever it is. Instead, you see Lisa's surprised, tear-stained face looking back at you. Lise. Before you can say anything else, she silently strides out down the hallway. You watch her disappear around the corner, then hear a door open and slam shut. Initiate Zini. You turn and find one of your faculty panel members standing in the doorway. We're ready for you. Alright. Thanks. You walk into the room beyond. It's the same lecture hall you did your presentations in, but a long table has been set up in the center, flanked by chairs on either side. You take the one opposite from the head of the table. You see Master Izom sitting near the head, along with the Dean. The other seats are taken up by faculty members. Some are from your research panel, and some you don't recognize. This hearing is convened at 12 o'clock on Monday, the 3rd of April. The purpose of this hearing is to officially record the findings of the inquiry conducted by... Your eyes start to glaze over as the faculty member reads out the same material from your letter. In your head, you start reciting from your notes. I was not involved in any burglary or theft. I'm friends with Lise, but I was never involved with any illicit activities. If she broke into the Garden of Flesh, I had no knowledge of it. As for the accusations of cheating, Initiate, you look up from the table and see the Dean looking at you. Are you ready to proceed? Yes, I am. Very well. On January 11th, a groundskeeper in the Garden of Flesh discovered that one of the models featured in the main gallery was missing its head. In addition, the remains of a mummified immortality scholar were found to be vandalized. Upon a more detailed examination of the remains, a significant quantity of the body's original blood substitute was discovered to be missing. There were no witnesses to the break-in, but that same groundskeeper was roused by strange noises that night and investigated. They found a window that had apparently been forced open. On March 20th, a faculty member with knowledge of the break-in spotted you standing outside the building during the evening that the head was returned to the gallery. Another eyewitness saw you helping Initiate UZO out of the same window that had been forced open during the break-in. In addition, 2 strands of Initiate UZO's hair were found in the hallway leading to the gallery. Soon after the second break-in, you gave a presentation that involved the production of a novel blood substitute. Upon deeper examination of your notes, they were found to be insufficient to explain your creation of it. We heard testimony from your mentor, Professor Okazi, which seemed to allay suspicions. However, An attempt to replicate your blood substitute based on the combined information failed. As it stands, you're suspected of conspiring with Initiate UZO to gain a sample of blood substitute from the mummified remains of the scholar in the garden and presenting the modified substance as your own original work. Initiate UZO has denied participating in the break-in or vandalism, but her testimony has been found to be unconvincing. With this in mind, how do you respond to these allegations? You take a deep breath and fold your hands on the table, then shake your head slowly. You try to look confused and shocked, but you know your words have to be clear and precise. I was not involved in any burglary or theft. I'm friends with Lee's, but I was never involved with any illicit activities. If she broke into the garden of flesh, I had no knowledge of it. The day I was seen helping her out of a window, she had asked me to meet her there so we could go to the festival together. As I was standing there, she knocked on the window from the inside. I was surprised when she tried to climb out, and I helped her to keep her from getting hurt. That's all. You didn't ask her why she was in that building? I'd expected that she had been studying there or admiring the gallery. She has a strong interest in artificial bodies and models. The building was closed at that time. Was it? I didn't realize. Silence descends on the room as the faculty members look at one another. This is a nice background, I gotta say. And the failure of replicating the blood substitutes? How do you propose to explain that? My formula can be unstable and difficult to replicate. If you like, I can try to recreate it myself. The dean stares at you impassively for a few seconds, then clucks his tongue. I suppose we'll need to table the discussion for now. You can arrange a time for you to recreate your substitute. However, we do have two other matters to discuss. One accusation of cheating on sanctioned exam, and one charge of personal misconduct. You nod silently. You can feel your forehead begin to sweat, but keep your face controlled. I'd be happy to discuss either one of those. Let's begin with the accusation of cheating. An anonymous member of the student body informed your instructor, Master Izam, that he saw a tattoo on your arm. The tattoo appeared to show notes for an upcoming anatomy exam, and you seemed to appear when heat was applied to the skin. Apparently, Initiate UZO offered to create such tattoos for other students as a method of cheating during exams. Again, she has denied this, but once again, her testimony has proven to be unpersuasive, especially after two other students admitted to having received such tattoos. How do you answer these allegations? You give a forced smile and look down at the table. I'm going to take a guess and say that the anonymous tip came from Tenza Kari. The faculty members look at each other and shift in their chairs. You smile a little wider. You do not need to confirm or deny. Tenza started a small altercation with me a few weeks ago. He doesn't have much restraint or composure. as his recent troubles show. In any case, he grabbed my arm, and I expect he did see some tattoos come into view from the heat. Liz had asked to practice her tattooing on me. She said she was practicing so she could work on subdermal tattoos. I asked her about heat-activated ink, but she told me it was to make sure her shoddy first attempts at tattooing didn't show up unless she wanted them to. None of the tattoos she made on my skin had anything to do with an exam, and I doubt Tenza could have seen what they were at a glance. What were they? Lines from a poem. You say beauty is within us, your mother knows. There's a beauty that's within us just like a rose. You say beauty is within us, so let it grow. It goes on for several stanzas. It was claimed that the tattoos depicted a human body, anatomical structures, and diagrams related to blood. Can you display the tattoo for us now? Unfortunately, I removed it myself a few weeks ago. He leaned forward slightly and gave a skeptical look. Tenza and I have had some difficulties in the past. He doesn't like me, and I don't like him. I'm not surprised that he tried to slander me. So you deny the allegation categorically? I do, yes. I see. The dean looks at Izom, then at the other members of the hearing. We'll return to the matter of cheating later. For now, I want to discuss the third charge, misconduct toward your mentor. Alright. Over the past few months, you've been spending a large portion of your time assisting Professor Kazi. Is that correct? Yes, that's right. You've been spending nights in her office. Yes. At first it was studying sessions, and then I started helping her with her research. Would you say the two of you are close? You shrugged and sighed. I suppose so. I have a lot of respect for her, and I think she's proud of how far I've come. She's taken a lot of time out of her schedule to help me get on top of my classes. Master Izom can attest to how my studies have improved since my first quarter. Most of it is thanks to Professor Kazi staying up with me until 1 or 2 in the morning. You are her sole mentoring student, correct? Yes, I think so. Do you want to tell us what you were doing during the night of March 18th? That night? I don't remember offhand. A groundskeeper says that he saw you leaving the lecture building with Professor Kazi at roughly 11 o'clock at night. Beforehand, he had confronted Professor Kazi in one of the empty classrooms where she'd claimed to be searching for some documents. While speaking to her, he noticed something strange. Professor Kazi was wearing a student's uniform jacket, one that had a research fellow's badge on it. You feel your muscles tighten. What's more, after entering the classroom to clean, the groundskeeper discovered some bodily fluids. Whatever Professor Kazi. The fluids were found to belong to Professor Kazi and one other unidentified person. They're not mine. Absolutely not. The dean raises his eyebrows and narrows his eyes. No, I expect you wouldn't want to admit that, especially considering your other romantic entanglements. I don't know. You see, when confronted with the information about the night of March 18th, Initiate Bouveau became upset. She claims that she is already in an exclusive romantic relationship with you. Which is curious, because a number of other people claim to have seen you attending the winter festival with Initiate Ito. I wish I saw that. That night, a few witnesses say you left the dojo, which was also closed at the time, with Initiate Ito. Izagi and I trained together. There's nothing inappropriate about that. We snuck into the dojo for a practice session. The dean looks at you silently, moves a few papers around in front of him, looks down at a particular page, begins to recite from a transcript. Initiate Ito, are you friends with Initiate Zini? Yes, we're friends. Would you say that you're more than friends? I don't know. Have you ever had intimate relations with Initiate Zini? I have. Is your romantic relationship ongoing? Yes, I believe so. Does Initiate Zini have any other partners? No. The dean looks up from the page and folds his hands. Tell me, Initiate Zini, are Initiate Bouveau and Initiate Ito lying when they say they're romantically involved with you? Yes, they are. I'm not dating anyone. Maybe they feel differently about me, but I don't. I'm not involved with anyone romantically. I have a few female friends. They're only friends. So, both of these girls are lying about being involved with you. Initiate Hokari is lying when he says he saw his exam notes on your arm. You were not present with Professor Kazi in the lecture building the night of March 18th, and you had no knowledge of Initiate Bouveau's break-ins to the Garden of Flesh. Yes, that's correct. I wonder, will you accuse Professor Kazi of being a liar too? What? One of the faculty members stands up and walks to the door. They open it and softly call to someone in the hall. Rue walks in, looks around, and bows to the seated faculty members. The dean motions for her to sit. He's denied it, Professor Akazu. I see. You see, I spoke to Professor Kazi in private and assured her that if she admitted to her activities with you, she would only be issued a reprimand. I also assured her that if you admitted your part in those activities, you would be spared a demerit out of respect for your contributions to this institution. However, you have chosen to lie. I'm not lying. Then will you consent to offering us a sample of your bodily fluids to compare them to the material found in the classroom? If you're telling the truth, you'll be exonerated. Of course, you'll still need to recreate your blood substitute at that. Do you feel up to the task, Initiate? Or would you like to confess? I'll give you a sample, and I'll recreate the blood substitute. This is all a huge misunderstanding, and I can prove it to you all. Professor Akazi, do you have anything you want to say to Initiate Zini? Rui stares down at the table. She shakes her head. Very well. We'll send the faculty member to collect the bodily fluid sample tomorrow, and we'll arrange a public demonstration of your blood substitute assembly on Thursday. The hearing is concluded. You are dismissed. You stand up along with everyone else, but only you step away from your seat. The faculty members watch you walk to the door and step outside. You sigh. Your whole body is shaking, and sweat is dripping down your forehead. Your head is empty, and the world around you seems silent and dreamlike. You raise your eyes to look down the hallway and see someone sitting on the bench. And as they stand up, you realize it's Izagi. There are tears in their eyes.
Oh my god.
The last thing I want to do is make Izagi cry. She walks up to you and holds up an obsidian pendant. She drops it at your feet and walks past you. You stand there in a daze, unable to respond. After her footsteps fade away, you crouch down and pick up the pendant. You gaze at it for a second, then glance up and down the hallway before sliding it into your pocket. You stand there for a minute, staring at nothing. Then you hear someone else walking toward you. You straighten, fix your uniform, slip into a neutral expression. You start walking, falling into your normal stride. The person comes around the corner, and you feel a small wave of relief when you realize it's just some faculty member. They glance at you, and you give them a small nod. You pass in silence and continue walking to the end of the hall, where a door to the outside stands. You pull it open, but you stop when you see yourself reflected in the window next to the door. Your face is calm, ordinary. Deep down, you can feel terrible, tenebrous things rolling inside you. You can feel your mind nearly slipping out of your skull, wanting to float somewhere above this nightmare. But your face doesn't show any of it. All you see is sweat cooling on your brow. When you get back to your dorm, you lock the door and stand in the center of the room. You slowly unbutton your jacket, then hang it on the hook near the door. You pull out the chair from your desk and sit so it's facing the window. You stare through the glass at the people moving back and forth across campus. Slowly, thoughts begin to seep back into your skull, like mold collecting on a piece of bread. It's on. When the great academies devote to perfecting immortality, a chance of escaping death. A chance of becoming one of the few people to ever transcend humanity. And who's out there walking the quad? People like Tenza, people like Izam, people like Lisa's friends. Rich, spoiled, arrogant, narrow-minded, hateful, despicable blue bloods who treat this place like a country estate. They're going to throw you out. Whether you deny it or not, you're already gone. The accusations are too lurid, too outrageous. You're going to be sent back to Senkaku to die with the rest of your peasants. You've missed your shot at eternity. All because you remember their faces stained with tears. I'm just glad you didn't try to speak to them. Tired of lying. You're tired of hiding everything, tired of pretending, tired of playing your parts. You swore you'd stop putting on masks like this. Swore that you'd stop lying to people, to yourself. You sniff slightly and look around your room. You can't pinpoint the moment when you should have stopped. It was before the end of last semester. You knew you were going too far, that the point of no return was coming closer, but you couldn't bear to stop. You just wanted to pretend for a little longer that you only loved Rue, or Rizaki, or Lise. You could almost believe when you were with them. And they believed that the UZO they knew was the only one. didn't need to lie to them. Just present a certain part of yourself. Match what they wanted to see, figure out what they wanted you to say. It was like sliding in and out of different dreams because you had to remember who you were supposed to be. The only thing you can do was show them all of you. Now here you could be yourself, alone with yourself. You lower your face into your hands and start to sob. Hours pass. The sunlight fades from the room and the night slips in. Spend most of that time on the floor staring up at the ceiling. Finally, the clock in the corner strikes 10 o'clock. You sit up and absently stare at the empty fireplace, then stand up and mechanically begin to shed your clothes for bed. As you unbutton your shirt, however, you notice a dark black spot on the back of your left hand, just below the knuckles. You frown and go to your desk to light a candle. The wick catches and you hold up your hand to the light. The black spot is about the size of a coin, and ragged around the edges with little spots of red scattered across it. When you touch it, it feels hot, wet, and slightly sticky. You realize it's a lesion, like the kind of elderly people get. You tilt your hand to get a better look, but when you do, you see another black blemish on your wrist. You pull back your sleeve and see that it's about the same size as your ring finger. You roll up your sleeve and see more and more dark blotches running up your forearm to your shoulder. You take off your shirt and toss it in your chair. You see the black lesions lead from your shoulder to your right pectoral, then down your side to your hip. What the hell? You pull off your pants, then your underwear and socks. Look down at your body and hold up the candle so you can see through the shadows. A tapestry of black lesions aspire across your skin, from your shoulder to your feet. Rue said that this happened, I should see her immediately. Lesions are signs that the transplanted flesh is... something's wrong with it. You start to put on your clothes again, followed by your winter coat and boots. You wrench open your door and start heading for the faculty building. When you walk through the front door of the building, you immediately see a group of instructors gathered further down the hall, near Rue's door. You walk toward them, trying to hear what they're saying. Examiner, I think. But how did the blood get in their lungs? It may have been vomit. Stomach ulcer, I suspect. She said it was contagious, though. Ulcers aren't contagious. You arrive at the edge of the clump of faculty and see that they're standing around a wooden litter. Rue is on the floor next to the litter, her eyes closed and her body limp. You can see drying blood spill down the front of her jacket, as well as on her lips. One of the faculty members kneels down to cross Rue's arm over her stomach, and you see black lesions on the back of her hands. Oh man, this is the start of infection. What happened? One of the instructors turns to you and flashes a forced smile. Nothing, just a little scare. Professor Akazi fainted from lack of food and drink. Why is there blood on her? We'll sort it out. Just head back to your dorm for now. She's my mentor. The instructor's face changes, their smile fades, and you see a hint of disdain creep in. Ah, so you're the student. Well, knowing her as well as you do, you're familiar with Okazi's disregard for health and hygiene. She collapsed out in the hall here, trying to call for help. That was about 5 minutes ago. She's still breathing, but she's not conscious. You need to. You push closer to the center of the circle of people, to the two faculty members who are lifting Rue onto the litter. You need to inspect those black lesions. It's part of her work. If she's got those, that means something went wrong with the regeneration. One of the instructors carrying the letter looks at you and nods. We'll investigate. Thank you. You watch them carry Rue past you, out of the building. The crowd of faculty watches her go, whispering to one another. You start to walk toward her office, but you feel a hand on your shoulder. Back to your dorm. She'll be better soon. I just need to check something in her office. I don't think so. If someone finds your soiled underwear in there, so be it. That's not... Go. Now. The instructor grabs your shoulder and shoves you back to the entrance, and you barely manage to stay on your feet. You stand straight and glare at her. You trail off. You're going to say I've got the same lesions as her, but you remember what one of the instructors said. It's contagious. You got what? You don't say anything. Instead, you take off your left glove and grab her hand. She immediately tries to jerk it free, but you hold on to it. Don't touch me! Get out of here! You let go of her hand and feel your skin unstick from hers. You glance down at the lesion on your palm, then slip your glove back on and walk away. Oh my god, UZO, you infected her willingly, Jesus! You walk back across campus, feeling the cold wind at your back. The others are out of this late. You can see hundreds of windows lit with candles. You don't know where you're going. All you know is that you want to be away from everyone. Underneath your clothes, you can feel the slight pain of your lesioned skin rubbing against the fabric. You grit your teeth and try to imagine how Rue feels. If she feels anything right now. You wonder what possible treatments they're using to deal with these lesions, but nothing comes to mind. It's not a natural disease. In fact, it may be the first of its kind. Rue is the only one who fully understands how her regenerating flesh works. Even if they poured over her notes, I thought they could find a way to treat her. You laugh to yourself bitterly. That's the problem with being a genius. Only they understand the things you understand, and that's going to kill her. Probably. Me too. You don't know exactly what's going to happen, but you imagine it's not going to be good. Maybe the flesh starts to necrotize and the tissue breaks apart, lets all my blood pool under my skin. Subcutaneous bleeding. Or maybe the flesh starts to undergo rapid senescence. My body ages 200 times the normal rate. My heart, my lungs, my brain would all decay inside of me. The idea of this being contagious still sits at the back of your mind. And it's actually contagious, that means it's not just a breakdown of the tissue. The flesh is trying to spread. Your feet come to stop in the snow. She said the last batch was designed to overtake and replace the rest of the body's tissue. So she wouldn't have to use grass to replace every part. It was designed to spread. It cannot spread without a graft. It's meant to affect flesh, so maybe skin-to-skin contact is enough. But we need to transform into something else to do that. It's a long leap to go from regeneration to infection. You shake your head. Only Rue would know the true capabilities of her flesh and spells. All you can do is wait and see what happens to you. Maybe they'll find a way to stop the complications. Or maybe Rue will die before she can create a treatment, and you'll be left to live out the next 10-20 years in agonizing pain. Or maybe you'll go to bed tonight and you'll never wake up again. You start walking toward your dorm, looking up at the buildings towering over you. You watch the light of the candles flicker in the windows and catch glimpses of the shadows of the people inside. All of them are here to live forever. That's what built this campus, wrote all the books in the library, and paid for all the surgical knives and bandages. promise of immortality. In a few weeks, I'll either be dead or back in Senkaku, and they'll still be here, trying to worm their way out of death. All these wealthy, arrogant assholes, they're going to be able to look death in the face and say they won. You grimace at the thought. It stabs deep into you. Almost as deep as knowing you'll never see Rue or Izagi released again. You'll never be able to take back what you've done. You start tracing the new trajectory of your life, starting from whether or not you survive whatever's causing these lesions. You can see yourself lying in the gutter, stained with dirty water and horse shit. Dying fast or slow, it doesn't matter. You'll be dumped in the grave sooner or later, and no one will care. Meanwhile, the stories of all the sacks of shit at ITZON will go on and on forever. Through the rise and fall of empires, beyond generations of uncounted peasants like you. And no one will be able to touch them. You'll stop inside one of the dormitory buildings. Never been inside, but it's one of the larger ones. Count the number of windows, then the number of floors. 200 people. You take off your glove and look down at the lesion of your palm. The yellowish pus has begun to collect on it, and you can already see it's already gotten bigger. You look up at the building and see only a few candles lit in the windows. Everyone else must already be asleep. You start walking up the steps to the dormitory, push open the doors, and step inside. No one is at the front desk in the entry hall. You walk down the hallway and see the rows of worn brass doorknobs glinting in the dark. You walk down the row, slightly brushing one side with the fingertips of your left hand. In the morning, they'll open their doors with the knob inside, and pull them shut with the knob outside. You arrive at the end of the hall and grip one of the knobs in your left hand, feeling the wet sensation of the pus against your skin. I don't know how contagious this thing is, but I hope it takes some of you bastards down with me. Damn, UZO. You killed everyone. The next day, you wake in your bed to find dim sunlight shining through the windows. You feel like shit and your entire body aches. You pull out the covers and look at your half-naked body in the hand mirror. The lesions have spread across your entire body now. From your neck to your ankles, when you touch them, they're tender and painful. You try to take a deep breath, but you feel something tickle in your lungs. Fluid. You stand up and groan in pain from the effort. You wrap a towel around yourself and look out the window. Thousands of students are crisscrossing the campus under a light snowfall. You look over them, wondering if any of them are coming from the 4 dormitories you visited last night. You cough, then double over as something catches in your windpipe. You fall to your knees and hack onto the floorboards. Then you open your eyes, you see a spouting of blood and phlegm. You chuckle and mutter to yourself. So it works quickly. You sit down on the floor and rest your head in your hands, trying to regain the strength to stand up. You don't know what you're going to do once you stand. There's no more class to go to, no more projects to work on, no more friends to see. There's really no reason for you to go anywhere. You flinch as you hear a knock on your door. You look over at shout, "Who is it?" I'm from the committee. I've come to collect the body fluid sample. Crawl over to the door on your knees, turn the knob, and look up at the uniformed faculty member standing there with a glass jar. You give him a forced smile. Come on in. Sample's over there. He points over to the blood-stained spot on the floor. The man's face screws up in disgust. That's really not acceptable, and your disrespect isn't appreciated. What would be acceptable? Saliva or blood? Place it in this jar. He hands you the jar and you take it. You loosen the top, gather saliva in your mouth, and spit into it. You notice that faint trace of blood suspended in the fluid. You're not doing yourself any favors, Initiate. Speaking to a faculty member in a state of undress is exceedingly inappropriate. Well, apparently being proper and respectful didn't get me anywhere, so guess it's all the same now. Would you like to make an official statement regarding the allegations addressed in your hearing? I can record it right here, right now. He laughed bitterly. Yeah, I'll make a statement. All you can spend the next century fucking each other. Record that and tell them, especially UZO. The faculty member's face is impassive. You're a disgrace. You're a stain on this institution, and I'm sorry we ever entertained ideas otherwise. This institution is a stain on the earth, and all of you are a stain on the fucking humanity. Duly noted. Give me the jar. He handed the jar back to the faculty member. He takes it and fastens the top again. As he does, his eyes glance over at you. What is all that? On your skin. The black spots. You hesitate and look down at yourself. That's bruises. Got in a fight last night. Those aren't bruises. Those look like tumors or skin lesions. The man's face hardens and he beckons to you sharply. You need to come with me. Where? The infirmary for observation. You grow and struggle to your feet. You prop yourself against the door frame and sigh. You flex your fist and look up at the guy. He looks fit, but it's obvious his specialty isn't physical augmentation. He's shorter than Izagi and less muscled. You sigh again and try to make a sober expression, as if you're resigning yourself. Maybe you should come in. The man looks at you suspiciously. Why? You look down at the floor and shake your head. You try to look as defeated and exhausted as you can. People see me, I'll start a panic. You know well. It's been getting bad since last night. You can see the concern spread across his face. He's trying to assess whether he should be walking away now. What are you talking about? Did you hear about Rue? Professor Kazi? She collapsed in the faculty building last night. How do you know about that? I was there. Here, come look at this. Look what she did to me. You gesture at your towel, as if you're pointing at something underneath. Let's just come with me. If I go, I might bleed out. You have to look at this. What is it? Just step out of the hall so the others don't hear us talking about it. If anyone sees, they're gonna panic. He looks uncertain, but he steps past you into your dorm. Your eyes watch him cross the threshold, then drop to his neck. As soon as he steps past, you twist around and wrap your arm around his neck, then grip that wrist with your other hand to lock him in. He lets out a sputtering gasp, then starts to choke. You kick the door so it swings shut, and you hear it slam against the frame. You squeeze his neck tighter, trying to find a trachea with your forearm. You feel his legs change position as his fingers wrap around your arm. You recognize a setup for a throw, the same kind Izagi would do to you. You reposition your legs to prevent him from getting any leverage. As you rise under your grip, you kick it out his leg in one clumsy strike. He collapses and you immediately drag him back before he can regain his balance. Your shoulders run into the door and you slide your back down and start crouching with him in front of you. He's on his knees, still desperately trying to twist his way out of your hold. You can already feel your strength ebbing as he thrashes against you. You clench your eyes shut and squeeze as hard as you can, locking your muscles in place. The man's leg lets out a rattling choke, and you feel his clawing at your arm get weaker, then stop. You hear his arms fall to his sides, and the feeling goes still. You immediately let go of him and take a few gasping breaths. Your skin is already soaked with sweat, and you feel dizzy. You extricate yourself from him, and put an ear over his mouth. You can hear shallow, ragged breathing. Clamber to your feet again, steady yourself against your desk. You feel something rising in your gut, and you bend over as vomit erupts from your lips. You fall to your knees and retch again, sending more bile spattering against the floor. When it's done, you're on all fours, breathing hard. You stay that way for a few minutes, trying to build up the strength to move. I need food. I need water. I feel so empty. You get back onto your knees and crawl to your desk drawer, where you take out a thick roll of bandages. You manage to dress, wrap your head and hands, and drag yourself to the cafeteria after almost half an hour of slow, shuffling walking. You leave the faculty member in your room, splayed on the floor. You don't expect to be going back there again. You don't know where you're going to go. You only have one thought: food. You've never felt so desperately, painfully hungry. The cafeteria is bustling with students when you walk in, and you realize it's a mid-afternoon rush. You join the line of students who are waiting to order and lean against the wall to support yourself. Most of your face and neck is covered with bandages to hide lesions, and you notice people looking at you. I look like a leper. You start to cough, and the people around you step away to give you room. You cover your mouth with your hand, and you take it away. You see black, coagulated blood and mucus. Ugh. God damn it. You finally arrive at the front of the line and slam down your money on the counter. Noodle soup, fish cutlets, roasted cabbage, and carrots. The person takes your order and then slides the money toward them. You realize at the last second that there's blood on the coins. You sit down at a nearby table, facing toward the counter, wait for your order to be prepared. As the minutes pass and the din of the cafeteria grates on you, you lower your head and hold it in your hands. The smell of food all around you is torture. Is that who I think it is? Oh God. You raise your bandaged face and find Tenza standing over you, holding a tray of food. He's grinning down at you like he's found a wounded bird on the ground. Oh, this. It's UZO the leper. Come over here, come here. Tenza gestures to a few other students. You barely recognize them as some of the people Lise was friends with. Oh wow, look at you. Is it chlamydia or is it syphilis? I told you fucking Lise was dangerous, but you didn't listen. There's a round of incredulous laughter as Tenza's friends gather around you and peer your bandaged face. Tenza looks around at them and puts down his tray next to you. You feel the old familiar hatred rise in you, but your body is too exhausted to let it out. You can barely speak. Rumor has it UZO here's in a bit of trouble. When you say UZO? Conduct hearing for cheating, breaking the building, stealing? Of course, fucking his tutor. And Lise Bouveau at the same time, if I'm hearing it right. Tenza sits down next to you and rests his elbows on his knees so he can crane his neck to look at your face. Hatred and fury is boiling inside you, and you feel yourself begin to shudder a little. Quite the stud, aren't you? Lise wasn't enough for you. I was wondering how you got that fellowship so quickly. Turns out you just have to stick your dick in faculty, huh? Shut your mouth. Tenza laughs and grabs his shoulder, making you wince in pain. He immediately lets you go of you and roots back dramatically. I barely touched him. He's acting like I burned him. What's wrong? On the edge, or maybe I burst one of your pustules? Tenza reaches into his pocket and pulls out a short-bladed knife. Let's do a little examination to see how bad things really are, huh? Stay still. You lift an arm to stop Tenza, but you can barely grip his wrist as it cuts away the bandages on your face. You feel the blade dig into your flesh and scrape the skin as he slices through the gauze. And soon you feel hot rivulets of blood raining down your face. Oh no, UZO, wow. Tenza tugs down the bandages and looks over your face. You see the others grimace and giggle. That's disgusting. Look at that. Oozing, bleeding, the pus, the abscesses. Tenza looks back at his ring of friends and sucks in air through his teeth. Oh, see, gonna keep getting girls without his pretty face. Would you fuck him? A chorus of laughter spills out of Tenza's friends. You watch them double over and lean against each other for support. Tenza looks back at you, his eyes relishing every detail of your face. He laughs too, mostly to himself. He who laughs last, right? I couldn't have asked for anything more. This is beautiful. Tenza leans in closer to whisper in your ear. I don't think I've seen someone this pathetic. It's disgusting. The best part is that everyone gets to see. Tenza leans away from you, looks at one of the girls. Would you ever fuck him? The girl shrieks with laughter and mimes gagging. She shakes her head and Tenza looks at another girl. Would you? She shakes her head and sneers. Tenza looks at you and shrugs. Guess you lost your touch. Seriously, I wanna know. How'd you manage to get two girls, and the instructor even, going at once? Tenza looks down at your belt. You must be packing something in there. How about you show everyone? You drop your head forward, letting the saliva collect against the back of your teeth. Tenza leans closer to you again, trying to catch your eyes. Huh? Here, I'll help. Tenza grabs her belt and presses his knife against her crotch. You raise your eyes to his, purse your lips and spit in his face. The spit hits him under the right eye, and his arm immediately comes over to wipe it off. You motherf... You open your mouth, ram your index finger down your throat, and turn your face to his friends. You vomit all over the girl's pants, then over the shoes of three of the others. Through the haze of dizziness and nausea, you see the horrified looks on their faces as they step back. Smell and make a ragged, weak laugh. They can't hear the sound come out of your mouth. All you hear is a ring in your ears, then darkness closes in around your vision. The last thing you feel is falling off the bench, but you're already gone before you hit the floor. When you wake up, Lisa's kneeling over you. UZO. Lise? You sit up and look around. Moonlight shines through the windows above, and the hallway is empty. It's silent except for your own labored breathing. What are you doing here? I thought you... Do you love me? You see tears in Lisa's eyes. Her hands reach out to cradle her face. You can feel the warmth from her palms. You have to tell me. Do you love me? Hi. Oh my god, I have to make a decision. How unfortunate that we have to stop here. But, if you are enjoying this video, please leave a like and comment your thoughts so far. If you want to watch more of this visual novel, please check the playlist down below. If you want to watch other visual novels, please check my channel down below. Anyways, thank you, and take care.